Dust Off the Cartridge, Volume 2, Episode 7, brand new volume. I am your illustrious host, Metro Meta, the one who stands above all others, and I am joined by, as always,
Marcus Flowers, aka One Marcus Flowers, on all social media platforms, aka Flow, aka Call Me What You Want, just don't call me lazy.
and we have been off for a couple of weeks, but we're back. We're ready. It's 2019, and do you know what 2019 means, Marcus?
No, what does it mean?
It means games. It means the best games. I've been looking at the lineup. Some of the new games coming out this year is about to be amazing. We're gonna get into it because there's a couple of sleepers, and then there's a couple we might have to that might be happening. But let's start out with the Switch. So both the Switch and the PS4 have announced a lot of their sales numbers for these past few years. Did you happen to get a look at these numbers?
I didn't get a look at the numbers, but I did see how the Switch is the fastest selling console that in between all of these generations, so between like the Xbox One, the PS4, and Nintendo Switch, it is the fastest selling console.
That's right. Nintendo Switch has sold more than 8.7 million units in the US since its launch in March 2017. That is an impressive number right there. That is a really impressive number. What does that mean to you? It's like, because you're more of a casual gamer. What does that mean to you
Well,
as a casual?
the Switch is just more it's more convenient than having gaming consoles. As for myself, I wear eyewear, and it takes a lot for me to put my glasses on and turn on the TV and play the PS4. While the Switch is literally just like an adult Game Boy where I can just turn it on right where I'm at. Play my game is very convenient. It's portable. A lot of the games are very engaging. Not to say that PS4 games are not, but a lot of the games are very engaging, such as we have with like the nostalgia with Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, and Super Smash Ultimate, and even some of the new and one of the things that really just impressed me about the Switch is some of the independent games, such as Desert Storm. I just bought a game called The Messenger. It's really fun. I was looking at another game today. It's called Omnibus, so I was thinking about purchasing that as well. But it's just I love the amount of options that the Switch gives you. It's also very, like I said earlier, very convenient because it's handheld.
Definitely. That's one of my favorite things. Like, they've been saying this for like a while, but the Switch is really an indie machine at this point. Like, for a while, PC was like the main platform for indie games, but now just because of Switch's form factor, its power, and just how much easier it is to pick up as a console. Like, there's so many indie games out there. I guarantee you guys should look out for some. A couple of other good ones is Stardew Valley, which is really amazing. And if you're trying to get in the mood for the new Animal Crossing coming out this year, 2019, shout outs to that. It's the perfect game to get into it. But not to be left out of the sun, Sony announced, I believe this was today actually, they have hit a new sales mile, 91.6 million PS4 consoles sold. That is an astounding number right there. That's an astounding number. And out of that 91.6 million, about 9 million copies of Spider-Man PS4 have been sold. So that's very impressive. That's very impressive. A lot of people, like, as much as hardcore gamers talk about how like exclusives are the selling point of every single console. Ironically, most exclusives don't actually always sell that well. Like, they always sell well, but in comparison, like the first year of the Switch, when Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart and those games were coming out, and those games were having like 100. Like, there was a point when Breath of the Wild was outselling the Switch and people were just like, "This is amazing!" Like the thing that you notice is that the attachment for exclusives is actually it's not even that very big. So when an exclusive really does start to sell that much, it really is an impressive mark, and it really leaves a mark on the industry and tells that console maker to keep going. So shout outs to Switch, shout outs to PS4. Uh, Xbox, you'll get them next time. You got next generation, right? Yay, Microsoft! Yay.
Nah, I don't think Microsoft will be able to come back with the console just because they're already too far behind in this generation, and moving forward we're getting more console exclusive games, and it just frankly Microsoft doesn't have the content, it doesn't have the it doesn't it also doesn't have like the platform to really compete with Nintendo or Sony.
Yeah, this generation for Microsoft is it's over. This generation is over, and I think Microsoft knows that, and they're getting ready for next generation. They're buying up a lot of studios. I hear rumors that they're even buying up studios even now. So hopefully they can get them next generation because these things come in cycle. You know, Xbox 360 killed it last generation. PS4 got it this generation. Maybe Nintendo might have next generation, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see about that. But let's move on to Twitch, who allowed basically a user back onto their platform. For those of you guys who don't know, a man who was a streamer, he was streaming Fortnite, and his girlfriend walked into the room talking about like, we need dinner, we need dinner. We're not gonna talk about his name. We're not gonna put that out there because we don't want to support him. But she was talking about like, come get dinner. He got upset, and she was throwing cardboard at him. To be fair, you know, this is the internet. A lot of people will be like, yeah, blah 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 blah. You didn't say this, this, and this. She was throwing stuff at him, and he got up and he slapped her, and there was a child in the background. You could hear the child crying. So it's very, very abusive, very toxic relationships on both sides, but especially on his side. And Twitch this week had the unfortunate problem of the fact that they re-added him back onto their platform, and he was streaming again, and people were upset. I think it was probably more of a technical issue. I think it was more of like an automatic banning system. They probably just automatic banned him, and somebody forgot to make sure it was a permanent ban. But it's a very bad look for Twitch.
Yeah, it just goes to show how dangerous certain entities are in the internet, and how definitely when it comes to like social media sites that don't produce their own content, how a lot of views or a lot of clicks just go unnoticed, and it doesn't really matter why they're getting a lot of clicks. I would say shout out to Twitch for removing him. I guess it's good that they did remove him, but it's also a little bit too little too late, just because they've already removed him, and for that gamer to be able to add himself back on the Twitch server, it just goes to show that there are still wrinkles that need to be ironed out, and how Twitch definitely needs to address their user policy.
Definitely, definitely. But from one toxic element onto another toxic element. So there's been a lot of hoopla in the Overwatch community over the past few days, due to what people are calling the fake girl controversy in Overwatch, where there was a new player called Ellen on top 500 in NA servers, and anybody who knows anything about professional games, especially Overwatch, when somebody makes it to top 500, like that's a very tight knit community. So when somebody makes it into that community, people notice, and it happened to be a female gamer, and she was picked up by Overwatch team, and a lot of people were being excited, and of course, automatically she started to get harassed. She was being DDoxed, and the Overwatch community was just doing what it always does. We've seen this before with one of my favorite players, Gagori. I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Gagori Shanghai Dragons was first making a name for herself, she was a top Zarya player for a long time before she came to the Overwatch League, and she was so good that many players accused her of cheating, and one player even bet his entire career on it. And when she proved she wasn't cheating, he gave up. So this is something that's very common both in the gaming community, the esports community, and the Overwatch community. And so everybody was very upset about everything that was going on. And many people, many pro players, including the fans, started accusing her of being fake. They started accusing her of not actually being a girl because a lot of them are insecure in their masculinity. And it turned out that she wasn't a girl. It was several pro players, one of which was named Punisher, who were using the account along with a girl named Ellen who wasn't good at the game. And they called it a social experiment, which at both ranges, it's just difficult because at one end, you have the fact that they are taking away a slot from a girl and they're putting this into the community like if this happened once, it could happen again. And every single female from now on, whenever they try to make their names, whenever they try to move up in the Overwatch community, the first thing people are gonna say is like, Pixar, it didn't matter. You need to have a live stream. You need to we need to be able to see you and make sure that you're the actual one playing. But on the other end, it was a social experiment in the fact that they did prove that this is automatically what was going to happen. Top 500 shows up. It's a girl. Her name is Ellen. Automatically, people start going at her. Automatically, people start accusing her of being fake. And so it's a very tense situation that really divided the community to a very large extent.
Yeah, no, it just goes to show just like still how toxic not just the gaming community is, but how society is, and how that even thinking that this would be a cool social experiment should have already been a red flag. Like you, like certain aspects of just like society shouldn't be a social experiment. It shouldn't have even been questioned. And just like those gamers and that young woman proving that, hey, there's still like flaws in this. It goes to show that they took it too far, but the Overwatch community also took it too far as well.
That's right. And but not to be dissuaded, not to make sure their community feels too upset. Blizzard yesterday released a brand new comic named as Beast, as well as a new event which I participated in today to get a brand new Honest Skin, one of my favorite characters. But nobody cares about that. We've gone basically a year without lore, and nobody cares about the lore. Nobody cares about what they announced or the story they announced or moving the story forward. What everybody cares about is the fact that Soldier 76 was outed as being a proud member of the LBGTQ community. Shout out to him and joining the lofty and beloved community of gay game characters. He's in great, great company along with Ellie from The Last of Us and Tracer from Overwatch as well. This was a very, very big moment in the community, and it was a very big moment in the game. It was a very big move for Overwatch. It's a very bold move considering the character of Soldier 76, the character of basically Dad 76. Like Soldier 76 in the Overwatch community is the personification of what it means to be a dad. He's the personification of what it means to be that 40-year-old old man who's over things. And he's also very much seen as just the Call of Duty clone. Like he's the character that they use to get more white men into this game other than the pretty girls. Like that's what he's there for. He's the character to get more of those players into this game. And the fact that they were willing to risk that and say our community is willing to take this, it speaks volumes to the trust Blizzard has for their community. So big ups to Blizzard and everything that they're doing there. I can't wait to see what better things they have out for us in 2019. And hopefully this is a big road in developing more lore in the game, getting lore in the game that people want. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it's very dope that they made that character a part of the LGBTQ community, and it just goes to show that progress and progression is happening.
Yes, definitely. But speaking of progress, world must go on. It's 2019. Games are coming out. Marcus, I think we said this in before, but what are your top three games you're looking out for? Top three games.
It wouldn't be top three, but I do have a few games that I am very excited for this year. Top of my list is Mortal Kombat, of course. Next would be, dang, I just had it. Is hang on, let me pull it up. It's called
Dragon's Dogma.
Yes, Dragon's Dogma, as
That's
well as
coming out.
there was another one too. Oh, and the I believe the Avengers game drops this year as well. Um yeah, that's those are my three. What about you?
For me, of course, number one, Kingdom Hearts 3. As you know, I'm getting ready for Kingdom Hearts. I beat Kingdom Hearts 1. I watched all of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I watched all of 300 over 50, 358 over 2. I watched that all last night. I started Kingdom Hearts 2 tonight. So I'm getting ready for Kingdom Hearts 3. I can't wait for that. Hopefully, I'm ready when it comes out. My number two has got to be a game called Biomutant, which is going to be a third person like action fighter that looks very interesting. And my other one has got to be Jump Force. It's coming out in February. It's a shonen fighting game. So keep our eyes out for that. There's not a lot of games that you need to be prepared for in 2019. Like
Yeah, I'm also sorry to interrupt. I'm also looking forward for Devil May Cry 5 as well.
Devil May Cry 5, yeah. There's not as many like remakes coming out. There's a lot of new games, a lot of new IPs, which is always great. You don't need to like read or play a bunch of old games to get ready for it. But 2019 is just from the list alone. We've all seen the list. We've all seen what's coming out this year. It's gonna be great. A new God Eater's coming out this year. Oddworld's coming out this year. Bethesda is hopefully not gonna release a buggy game this year. Going on Nintendo, you got Animal Crossing. You got the brand new Pokemon game. You got the new Luigi's Mansion. Like, there's so much good stuff coming out this year. But Marcus, I'm gonna give you three games. I'm gonna say three names, and I want you to think about what this year would be like if these three games came out. Are you ready?
Yes.
Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, I would definitely be here for Last of Us Part 2. Just that was made by Rockstar though, right?
No, that's Naughty Dog.
Okay. Yep, because Last of Us Part 1 was very heart wrenching. So I would like to play Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah. So, word on the street is, according to Sony's "What's Coming Next" video, is that those games might be coming out in 2019. Some people are speculating that in accordance and getting ready for PS5, which is coming out soon, which we're assuming we're gonna see at least get the name of this year. Sony might drop all three of those games in 1 year in order so that hopefully they can make them launch titles for PS5 and just like port them over, or just get them out of the way to get ready for PS5. So that would be, along with the games that we know that are coming out, along with the games that we know are already going to be just bangers out this year. That would be, it would be the Holy Trinity. It'd basically be the greatest year in gaming, and we've had a lot of good years. These past few years, these past 2 years have been amazing. 27, like as the world has gotten worse, gaming has gotten better. That's just facts. Like 2017, you had Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey. 2018, you had Red Dead Redemption, you had God of War, you had Spider-Man. If we ended 2019 with top 10 lists, going with Last of Us, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, brand new Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansions, Biomutants, whatever Anthem, and things like that. It really be like the highlight of what gaming could be. So everybody keep your eyes peeled because we might have some very special things coming out in 2019. Some very special things, 2019. But from excited, venerated franchises that we all know are going to be good, onto something we all know is going to just fall on its face. The Mad Box.
Yeah.
The Mad Box. So, Marcus, do you remember the Ouya?
No, I do not.
Well, apparently someone at Slightly Mad Studios does, because they're looking to make the next spiritual successor to the trash console of the Ouya. Because this week, the CEO of Slightly Mad Studios, the studio that is venerated for their games, Marcus, just lay on everybody. What is the venerated franchise of Slightly Mad Studios?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Project Cars. You don't remember Project Cars? How can you not remember Project Cars?
I do not.
It was only a average racing game that probably no one played. I mean, really, it's just got to be the cornerstone of an already developing console. So Slightly Mad Studios, the studio best known for Project Cars, at best average racing game, has come out this week and said that they're going to make their own console, the Mad Box. They are going to succeed where Valve, Sega, and Atari have all failed and break into the console market. And you know how they're going to do this, Marcus?
How?
They're going to offer people with quality graphics and power. Let me get this quote up. Here we go. The CEO of Slightly Mad Studios to sell it. This is his quote. What is the Mad Box? It's the most powerful console ever built. It's literally mad. You want 4K? You want VR at 60 FPS? You want a full engine free to develop your games on? You have it. That's a selling point right there, Marcus. That's a selling point. Because nobody, and I tell you, no console has a free engine other than, Unity on PC. And no console can do 60 frames per second at 4K other than probably next-gen consoles. And no console has VR support because VR support has not been working out anywhere except for PSVR and has always failed because it is way too expensive. And he also went out of his way. He showed us concept art of these consoles. Have you seen this concept art?
Yes, I actually was just looking at it actually.
What do you think of it?
I think it's I think the look of the console is fine. The only thing I was looking at pictures of the controller. The controller is kind of not shaped weird, but it's shaped differently. It's a lot like the PS4 controller, but instead of it having joysticks, it's two analog circles, and so that may be a difference. But I just wouldn't I wouldn't get a console like this just because it probably it's too much money for something that's unproven yet.
It's too much money for something that's unproven. It's basically a gaming PC. That's what he's trying to do. They're trying to make a gaming PC version of the console. And to me, what this reeks of and what this console just screams is PC gamer. It sounds like a PC master race just jerk trying to get their way into the console market. Because the director of Slightly Mad Studios, when he was announcing this console, when he was trying to sell it on people, that one of the big things about his console was it's not going to have exclusives because he doesn't like exclusives because it hurts the industry and it means that people can't play every single game. But let me tell you guys something. You can't play every single game. there's always going to be a game you're going to miss because it's on another console. And you just gotta watch a let's play. The world's gonna be like that sometimes, but he just screams with that person who just wants everything, and it's gonna come out, and it's gonna be expensive, and it's gonna be difficult to develop for, and it looks tacky. It looks like a gamer PC, and gaming PCs are put in closets for a reason. It's because they're ugly, and no one wants to see that in their living room. That's not something I want to put up on my TV shelf and show off to my friends. Like, look at my sleek looking Mad Box. It's 4 feet tall and glows in the dark because I don't want to sleep with the lights off. Like, it's just it doesn't look to me like a platform that people are going to get behind, especially with it being unproven, and especially with them not going to have exclusives. We've had people go into the console market. Valve themselves, gods of PC, people with billions of mounds of money, have tried to get into the PC market and have failed, and have failed to get into the console market, and have failed to be able to capture those people. And if Valve can't do it, the brainiacs over at Slightly Mad Studios, I guarantee you can't do it. But 3 to 5 years, so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. So our boss battle today was inspired by you, Marcus, as you might have guessed. The question is where to find indie games, because you came into my room at 12 o'clock at night and asked, "Hey, Morgan, where do you find indie games?" And I told you to get out. But this is something that if you're not really into the gaming community and you're not really paying attention, like, it's very hard to think of it. And like I said, if you have a Switch, indie games are the lifeblood of that system. It's the lifeblood of a lot of things. There's a lot of indie games on like almost every single platform. A lot of indie games on the Switch. A lot of indie games on the PS4. A lot of indie games on the Xbox. Tons of indie games on the PC. And oftentimes it's hard to cut from the chaff and find the best indie games so that you're not wasting your money. So I decided to just put together some of my best things I use to look up for indie games. First one being influencers. Influencers are always the most important. I'd always say check out reviews before you buy a game. But for really good indie games, what you'll notice is that influencers will always start talking about them. You'll see game theories about them. You'll see videos on these things. The best one I could think about would be IGN. If you can get through like most of their content, watch some of their podcasts. Whenever there's a really big indie game coming on, usually their content creators are always on it. If you can't stand through that, if you need a bit more personality in the content, the Noah at Rooster Teeth always has your back. Steam is another good one. They have their curators program, so find your content creators you like, click to those curators. You always get the best ones. Always have on-site reviews at Steam, thanks to user reviews, but take those with a grain of salt. And ultimately, the best people to look at for new games, and especially indie games coming to any console, is the content console creators. So those are creators who specifically focus on one console. They're all on YouTube. Like almost every single console has one. If you're on Xbox, Outside Xbox is a pretty big one. They mostly do AAA, but they have a lot of indie content that comes to Xbox. And with the low amount of games coming out there, they're always covering whatever's coming out Xbox. PlayStation has a few content creators that do it, so I just look at those. You look at them. For Switch, Marcus, if you're looking for indie games coming to Switch, the best one to look at is Switch Force. It's a YouTube channel. They cover all Switch news, every single Switch game that's announced. They play them, so if there's anything big going on that platform, they know what's going on. Those are your best chances of figuring out. And another thing is just follow developers. Like, you want to follow developers you like. So good developers. I tend to follow a bit more specific ones, but Chucklefields Gaming, they help publish Stardew Valley. You want to look at people like that. You want to look at let's see, Devolver Digital always has something weird going on at their stuff. So follow developers, follow creators, and you always have some indie games. Marcus, do you have any? How do you find your indie games?
Well, I really just search wherever. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch sometimes. But other than that, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So just you wanna be active. You know, indie games are just like any other indie community. Same thing with like indie filmmaking or indie stories. Like they're really great, but you gotta put the work in to find the good stuff. But that's all we have for you today. Marcus, what's our outro? What's our week looking
So we have a packed week. So this is coming out on Wednesday. This also comes along on Wednesday with the Super Flow Bro podcast. On Thursday, we have a special surprise podcast that we are dropping. It is a review of a game that we have both have experience with. And on Friday we are dropping our Aquaman and our Young Justice review. Once again, I want to thank you all for listening. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Twitter at 26NG. Follow us on Instagram at 26 and Glencoe. Follow us on Facebook at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Follow us on YouTube at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. We also have a link tree link in our bios on social media. So wherever we're at on the internet, you can find us there and we'll all be there. Follow me on all social media platforms at One Marcus Flowers. Follow Morgan on social media at MetroMeta26. And that's it. Just close this out, Morgan.
All right, that's it for Dust Off the Cartridge. Everybody have a nice 2019 and keep playing.
Peace.